Have you ever been faced with the challenge of consistently formatting a huge amount of text quickly? Maybe this quickly? If so, stick around because that's exactly what you'll learn how to do in this video. Hello everybody and welcome, or should I say welcome back. This is the first video of the 20th anniversary reboot of my podcast, The InDesigner, which I started in 2005 while YouTube was still in diapers, metaphorically speaking. The InDesign version I started that podcast with was CS2. The equipment was low-tech and the video was low-res, but it was very well received, and the features and tips covered in those 55 episodes still apply today. This 20-year milestone feels like the perfect time to once again share InDesign information, instruction, and insight using modern tech on a new platform, revisiting core features, and exploring what's new since my last episode of that podcast 10 years ago. To kick things off, I'm starting with my favorite topic in InDesign, styles. In this case, paragraph and character styles, which power dozens of other features in the application that we'll explore together in future videos. For now, let's be clear on the difference between paragraph and character styles by looking at the dialog boxes for each. While there are some settings they both share, there are twice as many sets of options for paragraph styles as there are for character styles. Indents and spacing, tabs, rules, borders, shading, hyphenation, justification, bullets, numbering, and more are all controlled at the paragraph level. Character styles let you deviate from the paragraph level settings to change the font, size, case, tracking, color, etc. for specific characters or words. But the paragraph controls everything else. In this video, we'll see how to combine the best of both to boost productivity, ensure consistency, and quickly apply changes. In this document, I have a series of formatted paragraphs making up a course description, one of many in an academic catalog. Each paragraph is formatted to my liking, and now I want to create the necessary styles with which I can quickly apply the same formatting to many other course listings in the catalog. With my cursor in the first paragraph, I'll go to the Paragraph Styles panel and choose New Paragraph Style from the panel menu. I'll name it Course Title, and as I click through the various settings on the left side of the panel, you'll see that it has picked up all of the formatting attributes of the selected text. That's exactly what I want. But before I click OK, I'll check Apply Style to Selection. This option is only available when you're creating a style for the first time, but it saves me from having to deliberately apply it myself later on. Since I have Preview checked, you may have noticed that the smaller course number at the beginning of this course title changed from a shade of gray to a shade of blue. That's something we'll come back to and fix, but in the meantime, I'll click OK and move on to the next paragraph. Again, I'll select some of the text of the next paragraph or just put my cursor anywhere in it, and this time I'll go to the paragraph options in the control bar, click the paragraph style icon, and choose New Paragraph Style. There are 2 or 3 different ways to do just about everything in InDesign, so this is just another method for accessing the New Paragraph Style dialog. Apply Style to Selection is still checked, which is what I want, so I'll click OK. Moving on to this longer paragraph with the course description, I'll use yet another method for creating a style that avoids going to either the panel or the control bar. I'll hit Command-Enter to open the Quick Apply panel and type in M:, which limits my search to menu items, then New Para, and that's as much as I need to type before Quick Apply surfaces that menu item to me here. I'll hit Return, and I'm brought directly to the New Paragraph Style dialog. Any one of these methods for starting a paragraph style will work. There's no right or wrong about it, it's totally up to you. I'll name this style Description, it's being applied automatically, and I'll just click OK. Finally, there's this last line. Here, I'll specifically select just the portion of it that isn't in bold, and there's a reason for that. The bold is the exception to the rule in this paragraph, so I don't want the new style I'm creating to pick up the bold as an attribute. I'll do the quick apply thing again by hitting Command Return. What I previously searched for is still there and selected, so I'll just hit Return and go straight to the new paragraph style dialog. I'll name this style Requirements and click OK. I now have my 4 paragraph styles for these course listings created and applied. Now it's time to move on to character styles. By definition, character styles are the exception to the rule within a paragraph, whether that's something as simple as bold or italic text within the paragraph, or something more complex. In these course listings, we have 2 paragraphs with exceptions. In the course title, the smaller course number differs in formatting from the rest of the paragraph, so it calls for a character style. The same goes for this last paragraph of requirements, where the bold lead-in differs from what follows. In fact, if I take a moment to look at the Paragraph Styles panel with the paragraph selected, there's a plus sign next to the style name, which indicates that there's formatting applied that overrides the style definition. In this case, it's pretty easy to see what's different, but if I want to see where all the overrides are in my text, I can click on this Style Override highlighter icon in the panel, which shows me any text in a paragraph that has been manually formatted, meaning it differs from the style definition, but the formatting change isn't made using a character style. This isn't exactly a new feature. It was added in 2016, but it didn't exist back when I was doing my original podcast, so I wanted to be sure to highlight it here. Pun intended. If I select the course number, then hover over the course title style name in the panel, a tooltip tells me every attribute that's not defined by the paragraph style. In this case, the font is scaled 80%, both horizontally and vertically, and tinted to 65%. For now, I'll toggle that style override highlighter off and keep going. I'll choose New Character Style from the panel menu and name it Course Number. Here, I want to keep Apply Style to Selection unchecked because I'm going to apply it in a smarter and more automated way. When I go to Advanced Character Formats, you can see the 80% scaling values here. Why am I using scaling this way instead of just specifying a smaller point size? Because it gives me flexibility. By using scaling, I'm keeping the size of the course number relative to the size of the rest of the paragraph. At 80%, that means if my paragraph text is 10 point, the course number will be 8 point. If I change the paragraph text size to 20 point, the course number will automatically change to 16 points, which is 80% of 20. Now, I had originally formatted this to be a tint of black, but that changed when I created and applied the paragraph style, because the course number inherited the blue color from the paragraph. I'll click Character Color, choose Black, and it keeps the 65% tint value that was originally applied, but now it's 65% black. That's all I need to do here, so I'll click OK. Next, I'll select this bold lead-in text on Co-requisites, go to the character options in the control bar, click the Character Styles icon, and choose New Character Style. Again, just a different way of doing the same thing I did from the Character Styles panel. I'll name this Bold Lead-In, keep Apply Style to Selection unchecked, and click OK. Now it's time to incorporate both of these character styles into their respective paragraph styles, so I'll never have to apply them manually. I don't need to have any text selected for this part. I'll just switch back to the Paragraph Styles panel, right-click on Course Title, choose Edit Course Title, and then go to Drop Caps and Nested Styles. I have Preview checked in the dialog, so we'll see my changes reflected live in the document as I go. I'll click the New Nested Style button and choose my course number character style from this drop-down menu. By default, it's set to through one word, which in this case works just fine, even though it's not technically a word. I could also choose through 5 characters. That does the job too, as does through 3 digits, because there are 3 digits in the course number. Once the nested style encounters those 3 digits, or whatever delimiter I set, it stops the character style formatting and reverts to the paragraph style formatting. If I change that to through one sentence, it continues all the way through the rest of the paragraph because there is no second sentence. The nested style never encounters the thing it's looking for to stop applying the character style. I'll just switch this back to through 5 characters because I know all of the course numbers conform to that, and I'll click OK. Next, I'll click the requirements style, choose Edit Requirements, go to Drop Caps and Nested Styles, and add a new nested style using my bold lead-in character style. And once again, it defaults to through one word, which seems to do the trick here as well, since it's including the closing parenthesis and the colon as part of the word. To me, that's dumb luck, and it could backfire if somewhere in this document, one of the bold lead-in sentences consists of 2 words. My nested style wouldn't work as intended in that case, but I know they all end with a colon, so through one colon is a more bulletproof setting here. I'll just click OK, and now everything's set up with the proper styles. Before I continue, I'll turn the Style Override highlighter back on in the Paragraph Styles panel, and there are no highlights at all. Everything is using my defined styles, and there are no overrides. That may seem like a lot of steps for a single course description, but I have many more courses to format in this catalog, and I want to apply this formatting at scale with the fewest possible steps. Now let's see how I go about applying these styles to the other course descriptions. I'll put my cursor in this first course title and apply the course title style by clicking its name in the panel. I'll hit Command down arrow to jump to the next paragraph and apply the credits and hours style. Then apply the description style and then the requirements style. And that was pretty quick, but I'm going to get really tired of doing that repeatedly for more than 100 course listings, and I'm probably going to make mistakes. I want to format all of these listings all at once. To do that, I have to give InDesign more information about how to order these styles and apply them using the next style setting. In the Paragraph Styles panel, I'll right-click Course Title, choose Edit, and under Next Style, I'll choose Credits and Hours because that comes next, and click OK. I'll then edit Credits and Hours, choose Description as the next style, and click OK. Then, for description, I'll set its next style to requirements, click OK, and move on to requirements, which is the last paragraph in this sequence. When I choose a next style for that, I'll go back to course title. This creates a formatting loop from the last style in this sequence of paragraphs to the first style in the next one, and that will repeat over and over until it runs out of paragraphs to format. I'll hit Command A to select all, and in the Paragraph Styles panel, I'll right-click on Course Title and choose Apply Course Title, then Next Style. So it'll apply Course Title, then Credits and Hours, then Description, then Requirements, and then start all over again. Are we ready? This is the big moment. Apply Course Title, then Next Style. Boom! All done. Let's see how we did across the 11 pages of listings. I just successfully formatted more than 100 course listings in this document in about 1 second, each style in succession with its nested styles automatically applied. Yes, I spent time at the beginning of the process creating the paragraph and character styles, nesting those character styles within the paragraph styles, and setting up next style to create a sequence. But all of that time combined is a fraction of what it would have taken to format this amount of text manually, or even just to apply the styles one paragraph at a time. Just to put numbers to this, I'll select all this text again, go back to page 1, and hit F8 to open the info panel, where InDesign brings the receipts. 408 paragraphs, more than 1,000 lines of text, perfectly formatted in about 3 clicks. Well worth that investment of time up front. So let's recap what we've covered in this video. Creating paragraph styles based on formatted text. Creating character styles based on uniquely formatted text within a paragraph. Nesting those character styles into paragraph styles. Making associations between each style as to which style follows it. And applying those styles in a consistent sequence across hundreds of paragraphs. This is just a small example of the kinds of efficiencies and results you can achieve just using paragraph styles and character styles. No other InDesign features were put to work in this exercise, and look how much we've accomplished. If you want to try this for yourself, you can download the before and after versions of this InDesign file at the link in the description below. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If this is the kind of InDesign content you want to see, please help me get this channel off the ground by subscribing. Hit the like button if you found this helpful, and hit the notification bell to be notified anytime I upload new content, which I'll be doing very soon. I'm so happy to be back again doing these videos, and I'd love to hear from you, so please reach out and ask any questions you may have in the comments below. So, for the InDesigner, this is Michael Murphy. Thanks for watching. See you next time.